Talk pages on Wikipedia, my beginnings. Well, my first edit made my first talk page, and coincidentally, my first edit on a talk page for an article on Wikipedia, which is different than a talk page affiliated with a user page. So I'm specifically talking this time about talk pages for article pages. So each article on Wikipedia may or may not, but there can at least have a associated talk page, and the talk page is for improving the article. So it's like where one can discuss or bring up things related to improving the article. And so on 25 August 2022, I made my first edit, which was actually making a at that point in time, draft talk page, and then the article for a draft article, and then the article passed review, and my draft talk page went to a talk page, and the draft article went to an article. And that was for Flynn Southam, so talk Flynn Southam. And so my beginnings today is Tuesday, 18 October 2022, so that was, coming up on 2 months of editing, making and editing and contributing to talk pages on Wikipedia. So my beginnings are pretty short, so it's kind of a short video. The rationale behind my editing is like, I should put something on the talk pages if I'm making new pages, but I don't really know what to put. And I realized that Wikipedia has a review process, which, as someone who is published in peer-reviewed journals, it's cool to have peers review the articles. And it means they pass some quality standard to actually be there and remain and not be dragged into draft space or speedily deleted and stuff like that. So, and the page could still get deleted later in time, but the point is there's a new article review, and as somebody who's gone through something analogous with like peer-reviewed journals, like that's a pretty big deal to have other people reviewing the article. So I did for each of my articles a section for new article review, so kind of when I published it and then when it passed review. There's also something called assessments, and assessments are quality and importance assessments, and I decided to do sections for each of my pages, and some are articles and on the talk pages for the articles, and some articles that I did not create of article assessments for the quality, because importance is kind of, there's two kind of assessments, the importance and the quality is one where as contributors, editors, that's something we can work on. Importance, we can only go so far. That one is that and the quality are kind of in control for, like, if I'm writing on a biography of a living person page, that person kind of gets that's more in their wheelhouse than the editor's wheelhouse. And the editor can only go so far when there aren't references or sources and stuff to put on the page, then or there's not a diversity of references, then the quality of the page might be a little lower, that kind of thing. So diversity of references is very important for quality of an article. So that's something I'm currently working on kind of across the board for all of my sustained projects, and so all that or sustained editing on different articles, be it an article I created or not. And so that's one that is I like that on the talk pages, because that can be updated as assessments are made. And if I'm like, this article is still a start class or a stub class, but I really wanted to get to a B class, the article assessment section is a place where people can contribute, how do we get it to that B class? And we can discuss it on the talk page, where that's not really there's not space for that on the article itself. So I'm trying to, and then if my pages have been nominated for deletion or tagged for notability, which is kind of a first step in a deletion process, did I address those? Like, did it get deleted? Did it get converted to a redirect? What happened? So making sections for that on the talk pages. Another one is missing information or missing a reliable reference for a certain thing. Calling attention to that, being like, well, we might have something on the page right now, but here's what's missing. if you're interested, contribute. And then logging, so like for the Sarah Sjostrom page, I'm logging there were I identified initially 33 medals that were missing from international senior championships in her career section on the Wikipedia article. And I've been adding medals and noticing additional medals that were missing. So it's now like, 36 medals that were missing that I've identified. So the number keeps growing, but I keep adding in. But logging as those medals are added so people know. And so she's like the most decorated female in history at the FINA World Aquatics Championships and individual events. Nobody really kind of comes close to her in individual events currently, 2022. And so it's like, well, it'd be nice to have all those medals in the career section. Kind of thing. And so yeah, so getting those on the page, but also logging now that a number of those were missing, being like, okay, they've been added and now they're all currently accounted for, like taking into account that somebody might come along and vandalize the page, or the number might grow but people might not add the medals, so then there's more missing medals. So that's kind of a section that can continually update too. But it's yeah, those are my origins. Is I kind of hit the ground running, where I was like, the catalyst was I did not actually. So for those who are like, how did you start? I didn't actually know that I was starting. What happened was I made a bunch of edits to Draft Space page, so draft article, draft Flynn Southam. And after I submitted an article for creation submission, it took me to this weird thing where it was like, tag this for certain Wikipedia projects that you think might be relevant. And I was like, okay, that's really easy. I'll just press a little button. If you use a swimmer, I'll put it in Wikipedia. Wiki project swimming. And I'm like, okay. And I pressed submit and it made a talk page. So I did not actually know that I was going to make a talk page. And I had no idea what to do with it. I was like, what just happened? That was like, I was like, I didn't want a talk page. I was like, I didn't know, like, but I'll take it. Like, that was like years and years ago when I was thinking about writing on Wikipedia and starting it. Talk pages were like, I just don't know what to do with that. Not that I would say no, but I was like, I had just contributed edits. So I was like, so I'm saying in the moment, I was like, I didn't want this, but now I have it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I had space for that before. So just step back, cool down. And so it kind of all started with, I didn't even know I was making a talk page until the talk page was made. And funny enough. And then I was like, oh, draft articles are hard to track. There's like, Matthew States is a big name, who had an article that started in Draft Space, that kind of, or went through Draft Space and then emerged into article space. And so that's what I literally did. I started with that was, well, it started as this, got moved here, is in draft place, passes review, gets out of draft space to article. Like, that's stuff that I just find interesting. It is about improving the article, right? It's tracking on the talk page that the article did improve enough to become an article and not stay in draft space. So, but also tracking, like, why is this page, was this not easy to find? I looked for this article on Wikipedia during this time frame and it says, and it wasn't there, but now it's here and it says this page was made like before, like the date stamp for the page was made, and it's sometimes that's just well, it was in draft space, and draft space is not necessarily easy to find on Wikipedia if one does not know how to search draft space, or it's not a default, or that kind of thing. So making a log there for people who might be confused of why I searched for this page many times during the time frame, why does it say it was made? And so we're just putting, it was in draft space at that time. Like for me, that's super helpful. Just having like, can I just have a sentence? Okay, I'll put the sentence there. It's a great memory aid. So that is kind of how it all started, and those are my beginnings. I'm using it. I think I've made like over 200 edits on talk pages so far this month, October 2022. So I kind of like, it just kind of went poof. And I've made edits on over 100 talk pages for articles. So I'm in expanding / getting a feel for it mode. That's my beginnings. So it's ongoing, and it started less than 2 months ago for talk pages for that accompany article pages on Wikipedia, and draft talk pages that accompany draft article pages on Wikipedia. Those are my beginnings with talk pages on Wikipedia.